Good morning and welcome to Podcasts from the Pit. I'm Casey.
I'm Ert.
And I'm Wes, a.k.a. Joe Hunter 73.
Sweet. Welcome back.
We had bad storms all night, but I still have power. So that is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I
just got a notification that power went out in our city. If it happens, I'll switch over to my phone.
Okay. It's so foggy here, I can't hardly see the cattle across the road. So.
Can you hear them?
At times.
Are they saying yeehaw?
You're saying yeehaw.
Can you hear my whining dog?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's a
Molly
staple.
just has to be on the show.
Yeah.
She gives her opinions on her favorite Joe and Cobra vehicles today.
That's good.
So let's see who's all in the chat. Always like to say hi. Let's go back up. Chat's already lively, boys. It's going to be a good one.
Up and going.
Yep. Good deal.
Joe Ricondo. Morning, everyone.
Hope all morning, Joe.
Happy
Saturday. What's up, Joe?
Larry, good morning.
Morning,
hello,
Dad.
Larry.
Foot, how are you today?
Morning, Foot.
And might be the first time I've seen Away to Funk.
Morning.
Huh. Good morning.
Good morning. Yorktown Joe, good morning.
What's up, Yorktown?
Go back to Away the Funk.
Well, here's another one from him. Adam Bomb Customs here.
All right.
Because I think he had a Scottish flag up. That's pretty awesome.
I don't think that's a Scottish flag.
It's blue with the white X.
Looks green, white, and red to me.
Oh, I was meaning on the previous post.
That's the same one, buddy.
Okay.
Wreck Ship 85.
Ahoy.
Ahoy, maybe.
Off course. Good morning.
What's up, sir?
In the great state of Alabama. What's up, Better Ray Bob?
Better Ray.
Good morning.
The chat is lively. I love
this
chat.
It's going, man.
Ronnie Trickshot.
Ronnie has returned.
Good day.
Good day.
Good day. How's things down in Australia, mate? Did you throw some shrimp on the bobby?
The show's going to explode when Ronnie and I are on the same episode. It's just going to the two Australian superpowers come together.
Yeah.
Good morning, Gaz.
Gaz, what's up, man?
Gaz, he's running around his living room with his Hydro Viper.
So, Away to Funk says his G.I. Joe page is Atom Bomb Customs. So everybody, let's check that out.
Yep.
I think I followed him.
And he says, yes, the Scotland is a different profile pic.
Okay.
So you were right, just wrong in this situation.
Okay.
50-50.
I tried.
Hey.
My bifocals are messing with me. I can't get my phone far enough away from me.
Right. So this should be a fun one. Put some thought into it. Had to I've got some scratches on my list where I made some changes.
I haven't made it.
Also, you have to bear with me, but as soon as I do my pick, I'm going to read Matt's pick because he couldn't be here this morning. He wanted to. He put in the work, but he couldn't be here.
Yeah.
So I will be proxying his votes.
Sweet.
Let's do a little show and tell. Did you guys get anything? Billy?
I got one thing.
You got something special.
Me?
Wes.
Oh.
Did you not get your Kickstarter?
Oh yeah. That's coming.
That looks really good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Start with Hillbilly.
And speaking of cows, Hillbilly, there you go.
Moo, y'all. Moo. So what kind of
that was a white elephant Christmas gift from somebody that they just picked up at a gas station.
Sweet.
That I ended up landing on. So yeah. Cal.
So here's my shameless plug. Podcast from the Pit. Got a new shirt in this week. We have sold a grand total of seven shirts in our merch shop. 3 of those are to this guy.
They are comfortable.
They are
Very comfortable.
I need to get one.
This is the premium shirt, so it fits me a little bit tighter because I'm fat. So, but yeah, we have baseball jerseys, we have aprons, we have tie-dye, we have everything you could think of except for hats.
Redshift says he's got his.
Sweet. This one, can't wait to see people wearing them. You know.
Yeah.
Especially at Joe Fest. If somebody don't even know has one on that comes up through, I'm gonna like flip out and like grab Casey and swing him around like a 3-year-old.
Oh, we'd definitely grab him up and take a picture with him for sure. We'd be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
And Joe Ricondo said he wants a podcast sock monkey.
I'll see what we can do.
And Larry Bear says he needs podcast from the Pit undies.
Underoos.
It says undies. Maybe
Underwear and
boxers?
the t-shirt.
They got the white t-shirts, so
Yeah.
I'm waiting for them to get onesies.
If they had onesies, my granddaughter would be wearing it already.
Yeah. I'd get one for my wife so she can run around in them. Fuzzy slippers.
This says bibs.
Yes.
No.
I love bibs are awesome. I'm going to have a pair of bibs by Joe Fest.
Thought you already had a pair.
I do, but they're not presentable. They're covered in ink stains.
There it is. There it is right there.
Hopefully they are not crimson skin marks.
Less than 10 minutes in. Skid mark. Got it.
Yes.
We've got our quota now on skid marks.
Yep. Yep.
All right. So anything else?
Yeah. Eric.
Billy, anything else?
Just this ugly mug. Yep.
So I think it was last week when I got it, but I got my t-shirt in.
Still
so I got
sweet.
Yeah, I got your size. All
right.
I mean, it's in the works. Eric, I'll get your size after the show.
Same.
Yeah, I got 3 of them, and it was my intention to get these shirts done so I could wear them at Joe Fest. It's still in the works, so crossing fingers. Looks like it's going to be a road trip if I do make it. Airline tickets are just stupid now, so
yeah.
It's a 16+ hour drive. So I've mapped it out. I've chosen my 10 to 12 hour drive where I'll stay, use my hotel points. So that shouldn't be too bad. So it's what I do for work. I drive all the time, so it doesn't bother me. So it's in the works. But yeah, I got these t-shirts. They're pretty cool. Like them, like the quality. Yesterday got in the mail. I just posted these, one this morning and then a couple yesterday, were the Black Major
Nice
Shockwave, Tiger Force, and Beachhead Shock.
Nice.
And
nice.
Yeah, done pretty well. We all know Black Major's work, so there's a better look at Beachhead.
I do like that beachhead. I thought it'd be kind of gaudy, but I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's actually, yeah, I do like it. They even got the beret blue.
Yeah.
So
hey, Joe Ricondo wants to know if you'll pick Ronnie up on your way.
Yeah. Yeah. Just as long as he keeps his dingoes away.
Yeah.
Good morning, Crash.
What's up,
Blows
Crash?
out the door and comes in.
And then, yep. I got my Kickstarter from
I'm gonna
Heavy
make
Armor
you big
Toys.
so people can see those.
Okay.
There you go.
So Kickstarter for Heavy Armor Toys in the Navy. If you didn't see my post earlier this week on Instagram, I think I put it up on YouTube as a short. But the In the Navy figures,
These look great.
came in. Yeah, they're super, super well done. I like the way they gave us the option with, here we go, the necks. This neck is longer, this one is shorter, and they gave us that option to interchange it. I'm eventually going to make all mine with a short neck. I might leave one just to have a long neck. But yeah, so I got a couple of these guys here. That makes it better, maybe.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yep. Wrist articulation.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I like those. I think those are awesome.
Yeah. I'm pleased with them. Yeah.
And who's that from again?
Yep. D17. What's that?
Who's that from again?
Who makes those?
Heavy Armor Toys.
Heavy Armor Toys.
Heavy Armor Toys. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not sure who, I don't know who actually, I don't know anybody from there that's on Instagram. They just have that account. So I don't know, if there's any other,
Okay.
who actually participated in making that. I'm sure it's in the Kickstarter page, but
I was just wondering who Heavy Armor. I didn't know. I couldn't remember who you said. I didn't catch it. Sorry. You know who else has swivel wrists?
me.
Me and Casey. But there's another toy line.
Oh yeah,
D17.
D17.
Yeah.
I do have to say, to compare the two, D17 definitely a step above still of all the new O-rings that have come out, even from Hasbro. They're still top of the line, quality made. So, but no, Heavy Armor, these things are easy to take apart. Switching out the heads to the neck. It's this regular ball, whatever you call it, the ball neck, whatever. But the head does pop off, and putting it on is I have to take a pair of vice grips and clink it down because they're pretty. I probably could warm it up maybe with the blow dryer a little bit just to kind of warm up the plastic a little. I haven't tried that, but
so Joe Rocondo wants to know how the accessories are. Are they stiff or do they have a little give?
Little give. Yeah, they're little give. The wrists are on this figure here.
Alpha.
Do the neck crew come with it?
Did I miss one? Oh, I was going to put that up next.
Okay. This one here, basically, so there's grenades, right. Nope. Here. It kind of get in the way of him holding it, how I normally have my Joes and all my figures. All my figures are right hand.
Yeah.
All the guns go in the right.
That's the Lord's hand.
What is
Morning,
neat
Alpha.
is the hand, the right hand is a trigger hand, a trigger finger.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah.
And
they have
on O-ring
and they
figures.
are forgiving. They do expand a little bit, so you could, if you have the gun in, you can twist it around and stuff. So yeah, good stuff.
So does the
Man,
deck
I want to
crew
say
have
this
accessories?
What's that?
Lilith wants to know, which also, good morning, Lilith.
Morning,
does
Lilith.
the deck crew come with any kind of accessories?
It just comes with, I didn't bring the one that I have because I got 3 of each of the colors. It comes with the wands. That's it.
That's cool.
It's still cool though. Look
And
good on the
accessory
on
and the figure
flag.
stands. Yeah. The figure stands, you really have to mash it down to get it to stay, but they pop right in. So again, very forgiving as far as the peg hole.
Nice.
And that
Morning,
blue
Peter.
color on the deck crew is that Cobra blue. That
Ooh.
it's like my
Very
favorite
sharp.
blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is very sharp. I think if I get
Sure
another
are,
shirt, I'm gonna
Dan.
get that Cobra blue.
You might get one coming your way.
That'd be awesome.
Um,
No, Alpha. This is show and tell. He got his Kickstarter in.
No.
We
I
are
miss-
talking vehicles, play sets of our lives. And Joe Kondo says that's Rattler blue.
that is Rattler blue, buddy.
It is Rattler blue for sure.
Yes, sir.
And last but not least, thank you, Joe Ricondo, for the D17. That is Delta 17 swag that I got beginning of last week. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it.
And Bay Red Bob wants to know if the heavy armor, do they sell figure stands separately? Or did you just get
They
those
might. I think they're concentrating right now on getting all the Kickstarter shipments out. They did have a post on their Kickstarter page, possibly their Instagram page too, that they did have to send quite a few figures back or destroy or whatever, or retool. There's just something that happened in the factory. So, which is going to kind of, I think they said that's going to put off eventually everyone's going to be able to like go online and buy them. They're going to make it available to the public for sale, but they just want to take care of the Kickstarter initiative.
As they should. Yeah.
Yeah.
The people that support the run, take care of them first.
So that's one Kickstarter out of the way. Now I'm just waiting on Call Sign Longbow and Operation Recall.
Now, I could be wrong, but didn't heavy armor come after those two?
I want to say they did. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
There was no packaging with these. They're just in a plastic Ziploc. So
yeah.
Which is fine because I open up everything anyway.
Right.
See, that kind of scares me about doing a Kickstarter, being 3 years in and nothing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think both Call Sign and Operation Recall were. I think Call Sign came out first, maybe.
Yeah,
but they're pretty close. But that was what, 2021,
something like that.
Yeah,
I know,
but they just want to get it right, which is great. Yeah.
That's appreciated.
I was like, when they first launch it, it's like, oh, I can't wait. And then after time, it's like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, they'll be here.
Yeah, they'll be here when they are.
But it's affecting other Kickstarters for me now because I have 3 out there that I've been waiting on. I will not back another one until I start getting those in because it's just too much money that I've put out and not seen.
Yeah.
Whenever they come in, maybe I'll back something else. I don't know. But here's what I got. Big shock. I got New Eternia Roboto, which is awesome. Can't wait to open them. I got these after the show last week, and I don't like to open them until I show them off. But I got a package come today that I'm probably going to get into because I don't want to wait a week again. And a New Eternia Beastman.
Nice.
These are awesome. I've watched a couple reviews on them. Very excited to get through them.
So I found a Classics Swift win this week, and I'm debating about asking how much it is.
It's going to be pricey.
Yeah, that's what I figured. The guy's like, do you want it?
I want the Mondo one.
Yeah,
No
you
idea
and my
what
niece
I can't
both.
afford that.
I sent a picture of it to my niece, and she's like, "Yes, please." The one that has your Valaverse figure, kill switch.
Yeah. So Ronnie says, "I'm just gonna go for a piddle. Eric, give me a yell when the Motu stuff is finished." It's finished. Good
Treasures.
evening, Phil.
Hey, Phil.
What's up, Phil?
Ronnie, we really missed you last week, buddy. We miss all of our guests or common people in the chat whenever they're not able to make it.
Our
It
friends
really,
in the chat. That's what
yeah,
we call
they're family in the chat. How about that?
them. Yep.
Hey, that was that rhymed. I was a poet, didn't know it.
So Wes, you reached out the original time we did this kind of episode. It was a lot of fun. So you come up with the part 2. So why don't you run everybody through exactly what this little exercise is?
Yep.
And you can, when we go through the list, you can read off the question and we'll go through and do the answers.
Okay.
Is that cool?
That's cool. So the first, I think we did this back in January, maybe.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. And it was just called Joe's Are Your Life, something that, I explained it back then. So go rewatch that episode. Anyway, basically the rules are I'm trying to read it because just make sure I say it right. Rules again, you either have to pick a vehicle, aircraft, or playset of a Joe or Cobra. So it can't be one of each. It has to be a Joe or Cobra, vehicle, aircraft, or playset. And it can not be used again except for the final question. So just like we did with the figures, kind of a change though at the very end I just kind of added an extra little bonus question. So yeah, the first one, and who we starting with?
I guess me.
Okay. All right. So the first one is going to be, which Joe or Cobra vehicle, aircraft, or playset is a waste of your time?
Ooh.
Or basically something that you don't like, or just why did they make this?
I don't know much about the vehicles, but I'm going to go with. Oh, that's so hard. I'm looking at the ones that I have, and I don't have any that's a waste of my time.
There's some bad ones out there.
How about the Fang version 2?
Mm-hmm. I can agree on that. That was past my time.
Me too.
That's good, just right off the top of your head, a way to pick that. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
Cobra Rat Hovercraft. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Pogo.
I like the Pogo.
I've come around on the
Pogo
Pogo
too.
so much to now that I actually incorporate it into a space vehicle rather than a land vehicle.
Fortress
I can see this.
America. And I think this might be the first time seeing Toy Nuts. How are you today?
Hey.
What's up, Nuts?
I'm getting some good ones here. Battle Barge.
Yeah.
Wait, there's another Eric Harper.
Yes.
This is the Australian Eric Harper.
We're in force today.
Welcome to the pit. Road Toad. And I agree with Danny. Thing 2 is fire.
Like I said, it was. I don't know much about the vehicles. I know more about the figures, but I'm saving a specific one for a specific question. If I remember that question.
That made me scratch out a couple of things because I'm like, no, I'm gonna need that later. I'm gonna need that one later.
Yeah.
So this is for the Australian Eric Harper and Ronnie. Yeehaw! So, Wes, whenever you pick Ronnie up, pick Eric up and pick Lilith up, and
all right,
bring them.
I do have a pickup, so yeah.
So you can pick them up. You got to pick 'em
Yeah.
up.
We'll have a truck full of Joes heading to Joe Fest.
There we
Yeah.
go.
All right. Mine, and I want to say one of the Eric Harpers mentioned it, but it wasn't a hillbilly.
Oh.
Mine is going to be the Road Toad, which was an 87 vehicle, I believe, which that's when I was pretty much out of the game. That was my last year, which I only had like 2 vehicles from that 87 line as a kid. But I just couldn't. To me, it was like somebody in Hasbro was like, we need one more non-figure vehicle in this line, Joe or Cobra, and it has to be under $3. Sold, MSRP or whatever. And it looks like someone just took a bunch of Legos after they got done completing their set and put something together. That's my thought on the Road Toad.
Nice.
I'm looking for it now.
Well, mine is a tie. Well,
Uh-oh.
not really a tie.
Oh,
It's anything
That's-
Battle Force 2000. That's all crap to me. All their vehicles that
Yep.
don't like any
Yep.
of it. I couldn't pick out the one I disliked the most. So that's anything Battle Force 2000. I do not need.
I'm looking at the Road Toad now, and yeah, that's pretty useless.
So, and I'm going to
Hey.
give you. Oh, I'm going to read Matt's real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
His waste of time is the Buzzbore. Sparks less interest than Tiger Force.
You know what would have made the Buzzboard just pop, literally? You remember back in the early 80s, late 70s, you'd get these cars where you'd run them on the floor, and they had the flint sparker in them, and they'd shoot sparks out. If the Buzzboard did that,
Yeah.
it'd be
I like the Buzzboard because I like, on the Cobra side of things, I like my vehicles to be more fantastic. Like
Yep.
the Pogo, the Buzzbore, Trouble Bubble. I mean, it's never going to happen in real life. I love that for Cobra. But in Joe stuff, I want to be more realistic, which is why I don't like the Battle Force 2000 stuff at all.
I really came around on the Buzzbore after watching Joe Berg's play motion video, Renegades.
Yeah, me too.
That was, and they used a weed eater sound effect
yeah.
to put in as that noise, and so it made it. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, that jetpack. That was like a flying brick.
Right?
But that's another thing. After listening to Gary and Chaplin's Assistant Motor Pod, when he did cover that, I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna get that as well. So,
But he has an ability to make something you think crap sound cool.
yeah.
So
Well,
they need to hire him.
right. And the appeal,
Nice.
with a lot of the toys back in the 80s was the box art, and think
Oh, yeah,
G.I.
for
Joe was
sure.
the best at the game at the time, and they could make the Road Toad look spectacular on a box, and then you get home and get it out and you're just like, why did I buy this? Or why did I tell mom to buy this, or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, they would be
All right.
nasty. Oh, you can go ahead and read. I'm just going to pop up some answers
All right.
for some of the chat.
Joe or Cobra vehicle, aircraft, or playset that's most overrated. It might be great, might be good, you might like it, but just like I think a lot of us even said Snake Eyes when we were doing the figures, because he was in everything, right? But most overrated playset, vehicle, or aircraft.
I'm going to say, in this, I'll probably get kicked off the podcast for this. it's a toss up between two here for me. And I got to think about this. The flag. I want to go to
There
the
you
flag.
go. Yep.
Reason I'm saying that, it is massive. And not everybody, I've heard so many people say your collection isn't complete unless you have a flag. Not everybody can afford a flag. I can't afford a flag. One of these days, I might have a flag.
It's a popular opinion
Holy
right
cow.
now.
Everybody's
Everybody's.
with you.
I
Yep.
thought you all would kick me off the podcast and ban me forever, shun me. It's either going to be that or the Defiant.
Yeah.
Because the Defiant, you'd snap. I've heard stories of rolling it across the floor and snapping the wheels off. So, I've picked a good one. Yay.
Yeah. Surprisingly, mine is the same. I do have the flag. But yeah, when you think about it, it's super expensive. I could never really afford one, but how I got mine was I was collecting the Power of the Force 2 Star Wars line from 95 and then everything from 95 all the way up to like 2006.
Mm-hmm.
A lot were all on card, and I was like, in 2020, I was like, what am I doing with this stuff? Has been in the bin. I'm back into GI Joe. So I took like 5 or 6 bins to a DFW Retro Madness in Fort Worth. They gave me I was like, what are you going to give me for store credit? And they gave me a number, and I'm like, well, I'm going to get the flag, and I'm going to get the headquarters, and I'm going to get, I got a good handful of Joes as well. So that's how I was able to obtain mine, because this was a toss-up between the flag and, to me, the Terror Drone.
Yeah.
But yeah, the flag, it just takes up so much space. You have to have the room. Yeah, it's a popular pick.
Now, don't get me wrong. If I ever
love
have the opportunity to get a flag, I'll get one.
Yep.
And it might just be a little bit of jealousy because people having it. FOMO, I missed out on it. As a kid, I remember going into it was either Sears, Montgomery Ward, or J.C. Penney. Christmas time was Christmas shopping. And they had a wall of flags.
Wow.
And they had, or maybe not a whole wall of them, but they had this one aisle was just Joe vehicles. They had like they had all the vehicles that came out that year, and they had a stack of flags. I was like, that is beautiful. And I knew that there was no way if I'd looked at my mom and been like, I don't want nothing else except for the flag for Christmas. She had smacked me in the back of the head and said, remember, we live in a trailer.
Yeah.
So
I never saw one. I never saw one until, like, with my own eyes. Of course, I saw it in the catalog when I was a kid, and I already knew my parents weren't going to buy me that. I didn't have too many big vehicles then anyway. So I already knew as a kid, so I didn't get my heart set on it, but I was like, it'd be nice. My dad did go out in the shop, take some plywood and cut me out a deck, the top deck, and it wasn't as big, but
that's still cool.
Yeah, I still incorporated it.
It's awesome, Lilith.
That is.
That is very cool.
You know what I love is around Christmas time, Christmas Day on, and you start seeing all those. You remember what? Right now it's probably 40 of waking up with no flag.
Yep. Yep.
I drove all the way to Tennessee to get mine.
I was going through some old pictures the other day, and I found a picture Christmas morning, 1982. I'm sitting there opening something, and beside me is a Mobat box, and which was my brother's. That's cool, Toy Nuts. Y'all are lucky. So
what is so yours was the flag as well?
Yeah.
Disappointing. No. Mine is a Defiant. I don't have one. Don't need one. Too expensive. And in my head canon, Joes don't go to space.
Oh,
That's just me. But
all
I
right,
am
I'm
older.
off. I'm out.
Let's see what Matt has to say.
the Defiant. I'm still chasing one. Eventually, hopefully. I don't know. I don't know if I'll have one or not. I think sometimes they're more expensive than the flag.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Too many
Matt's
moving
is
parts.
Matt's
Yeah.
with me. He says the Defiant. He would rather have the Crusader.
Crusader's cool. I picked one up a couple months ago, so yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And it can land on the flag, and apparently, according to the comics,
That's how I Joed. I didn't go to space.
Yep. My Joes are always
But
in the
they're-
jungle.
but there are pigs in space.
Yep.
All right. Let's see where we at. Most overrated. All right. So Joe Cobra vehicle, aircraft, or playset that is most underappreciated.
Okay, this is an easy one.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty cool, Rachel. I had the opportunity to get a flag a few years ago at a toy shop in Charleston, and the deal would have been I would have had to trade all my comic books in for the flag. And at the time, I had around 5,000 comic books.
That's
Casey.
true.
And
It's a whole different universe.
They
and
don't mix in my head canon.
and whenever I got to really looking at it, the flag that they had was missing so much stuff. And if I'd have traded all 5,000 comics for this flag, they could have sold them comics $1 a pop, and they had got $5,000 out of it, and I would have got maybe a $500 flag, if that, because it was missing everything, and everything was broken. So, yeah, Mega Marines APC is pretty cool. Cobra Stun, yeah.
I like
for
Cobra
Cobra
me,
Stun's
Stun.
underrated.
Yep.
yeah. So for
Good
me,
choice, guys.
underrated would be the Skyhawk. Love that Skyhawk.
Good morning, Silverback Customs.
Morning. So
Love the Skyhawk. Skyhawk's
Yeah.
great. It's affordable when you were a kid.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
ruled season 1 of the Sunbow series. It's in almost every dang near every episode.
And for me,
Yeah.
it's an air vehicle that was accessible for me because it wasn't super crazy expensive. And if I didn't have a helicopter and needed a vertical takeoff thing, ta-da!
Yeah. Yep.
So
And it fits great on the flag, especially on the elevator.
I wouldn't
Mhm.
know. It did a lot
The
of
Ghost
good
Talk
work.
is pretty cool. What's
Yeah. I
I
didn't.
told him take our word for it. It fits fine.
that?
Oh, noted. Duly noted.
The Ghost Talk is pretty cool too. It's a good update from it.
Yeah.
I recently, I have both. I can't believe how much that Ghost Talk goes for.
I'll gladly.
It's more than the Skyhawk is. So yeah.
Lilith wants to know if the.
Yep, they count.
Nice.
Motorized backpacks.
Group it all together or pick them individually if you want.
So for your Ghost Talk, I'll trade you a lightly worn, show worn podcast from the pit shirt for it.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
I even leave the sweat stains in for
Speak
it.
to the hat.
Oh, yeah.
That's a bunch of bull.
There you go. Kind of like what Lilith did with the motorized stuff. So I'm going to group these together for underrated. All Striker.
Yeah, it's a great vehicle.
Yeah, it's a good one. But my pick is going to be the Battlefield accessories. So these are the like the mortar, and the barrel, the machine gun defense with the iron barriers. Yeah, those are really cool to have them all just, set up around your vehicles or, your headquarters. It kind of completes a good diorama. So I'm grouping all those together. There's 6 of them. I think there's 6 of them. So if I was in my office looking at my posters, I'd be able to tell.
All right, so mine is the Cobra Maggot. I love the Maggot. I think it's very underrated. I think you got to fill it out with worms, though. You can't just have the one. You got to have a whole crew. It's awesome.
You need worms.
You got to have worms.
Yeah. They make ivermectin for that.
I like the Maggot, too.
Yeah.
Maggot's pretty cool. I don't have one.
Yeah. I got mine at the, no, Ronnie, not Joe Fest, but the Antique Toy Mall in Louisville.
You'll have to take me to that sometime.
It's pretty nice. It's a whole mall, nothing but antique toys.
I could live with that.
Okay, so underappreciated, Matt's got the Devilfish. He says it's a nice small boat.
Yep.
Always overshadowed by the big ones.
Yep. Good color too on it.
Yeah.
I think if it came out in '85, it probably would have been, I don't know, 86 just kind of had that tone to have that color.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just detonator.
Will do. Yeah. Everybody who knows about this place loves it.
Yeah.
Loves it.
Summer vacation coming up. I might have to make a trek out there.
Oh, it's awesome.
So if you can remember this, which Joe vehicle or vehicle playset or aircraft was your first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Easy. Ooh, maybe not so easy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had 2 in '82. I can't remember what I got first. I'm thinking it was a Ram Cycle. I think I had the Ram Cycle very first.
Toy Nuts, I've been to that. There's also one in it's not too far from the border of Texas. I forgot the little Paul's Valley, Oklahoma, has a massive museum. everything there. It's cool. Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
You're fine. Yeah, the RAM. I believe the RAM cycle was my first.
Nice.
I used it for Street Hawk because I didn't have a Street Hawk.
Hey, good morning, Cobweb Collector.
Hey,
I really dove into Cobweb's reviews yesterday at work. He reviews Motu. I love it. He's definitely got a big fan right here.
I've been actually listening to a lot of Motu podcasts. Casey, you're wearing off on me, buddy.
It's good
Nice,
stuff.
Yorktown.
Yeah.
That's cool that
The
you still have
channels
it.
Go wild.
Skyhawk's a great one to have as your first. That's awesome. Off-striker. And these are
All-Striker.
awesome.
Ram or Vamp, can't remember. In 82, they came fast. 82, 83, got a lot of little vehicles.
Do you remember what happened to your Ram, Eric?
I got gave away.
Ah.
My mom gave a lot of my toys to needy kids. And I flipped out on her and I learned a lesson. And now I do the same. If there was a needy kid that I seen and be like, hey, I don't have any G.I. Joes. Can you give me one? Yeah, I'd be like, I bring him in to my cabinet and be like, pick one. Then if they pick my Snake Eyes from my original Snake Eyes, I'd punch him in the throat and watch him quiver, but still, I'd be like, pick one. Anything other than Snake Eyes Flint, take Duke.
So my first one, it was in 83. I'm going to say, because I can't really recall which one I had first. Maybe they were at the same time. With the Dragonfly.
Does that
Was
front
my
cannon
first.
swivel?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it's got the adjustable.
Oh. See, the reason I was asking about that is on Chaplin's Assistant Motor Pod. We were discussing the Dragonfly on there the other day, and the new episode is up on your favorite pod stream, and I did not remember them front cannons swiveling. So
when I got it, I remember just staring at the box, even after I had the Dragonfly out of the box, ready to play and everything. I would look at it also to place the stickers, even though the blueprints came with it too. Mm-hmm. But I do recall this is, right then and there, I was like, wait a minute. Because the one I had, the front turret were stationary. They didn't alternate. And that, began kind of probably how I became so like in depth with detail on certain things. What's thankful to G.I. Joe with their blueprints, putting the stuff together, calling out the prototypes that they had on the catalogs with the different figures that we actually didn't get in, on the shelves. And the same thing with vehicles. Sometimes the missiles look different on the box, on the back, that was an actual picture, but just makes everything cool about the line. So and I couldn't tell you that Dragonfly I had, it was played hard. I mean, it went through everything. So that's not my original. So
Question for you, Eric.
Ronnie, you're coming to Joe Fest, buddy. I can live without a flag. I've lived almost 50 years, or I have lived 50 years without a flag. I need Ronnie trick shot at Joe Fest.
Got to make that happen.
If we get to Joe Fest and Ronnie Trickshot walks in, I will fall over. I mean, that would be the greatest thing ever.
So, Ronnie, you have to start saving for 2026 so we can watch Hillbilly fall over.
Yeah.
Y'all never
Just
give
hope
up.
I'm not actually having a heart attack.
Lilith had a question about your blades. Did you straighten them?
No. This is just the way they are. They're kind of bowed.
Yeah. They didn't look, I mean, I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like I still have my original tomahawk and the original blades. But those are pretty easy to pop out, even though every single one has a stress thing on the plastic. Yeah. Also, the dragonfly fits perfectly on a flag.
So, is there a way to straighten the blades on a tomahawk or eagle hawk? I have an eagle hawk, and them blades are just like sagging.
There's a lot of the forums out there say, like, you know, lay something heavy on it and take some, not a lot of heat, but I don't know. If any of those break, I'm just gonna reach out and get like something 3D printed now. So
yeah, I was going to say that. Do you know anybody that 3D prints them? Because that might be a little bit
On
sturdier.
Etsy, I want to say there is a seller. If I can find it, I'll send you the whatever the shop they call themselves on Etsy, but they make 3D printed that retract, so it folds, which will make it fit really good on the flag.
Yes.
Well, mine on my eagle hawk, they fold, but they sag real bad.
So we'll go to my first one.
Yep.
I want to say I got the Fang first, but I got a lot of stuff in short order. You know, Fang, Hiss, Ram, Vamp. All four of those pretty close together. But I want to say the Fang was the first one I got.
That's true, Yorktown. They actually do sag in real life.
And let's see what Matt's first was.
Centrifugal force brings him up. That one. Lift.
He says first one he ever owned was a 1989 Mud Fighter.
That's cool. I wouldn't mind having a Mud Fighter.
Casey, did your brother, was he into Joe as well?
Yeah.
Is he older or younger?
Older.
Older?
Mm-hmm.
So did he ever get anything that you didn't get that you wanted, or was there that rivalry?
There's no rivalry. It was kind of different. We never really played together.
Uh-huh.
We always played separate. But even before Joe, what we would do is we knew our parents was going to get us a certain amount of gifts. Santa would get us a certain amount of gifts.
Yeah.
But we would let each other know what we were asking for so we wouldn't double up. So we can get most, like we did with Star Wars. We did it with G.I. Joe when that first, hit. And it was almost like we were building the collection together, but we never played together. If that
That's
makes
cool.
sense.
Yeah. Yep.
The Mobat. Go ahead.
Good morning, Ken.
Morning, Ken.
What's up, Ken?
It is an honor and pleasure to have you here today, sir.
Always nice to see Ken.
Yes. The Mobat that we got for Christmas in '82 was my brother's, and I was so jealous because we were also in the Stomper trucks.
Oh.
And it reminded me of a big time Stomper truck because it would go over anything. And I got the Vamp at Christmas, and I was like, okay, I can roll this, but I can go over here and lock it in the gear, and it'll go over wish books. We make a mountain of wish books, and just
yeah. I had that the ramp with the two bridges and then the hill Stomper, and that came with like some logs that I would always integrate that into my any toy that I had that wasn't GI Joe somehow it got integrated, except for Hot Wheels. But
Yeah.
like I had a Fisher Price castle, that was my Cobra base.
Yeah.
So I even drilled holes in it as I got probably around 14 years old. I drilled holes in one of the sides of it and put cannons in there and painted it black. And
That's cool.
Yeah. We would turn like Star Wars play sets, like the Hoth play set, Dagobah. We'd turn all that into like Joe background.
Yep.
We learned to be creative.
I had the twin pod cloud car from Empire Strikes Back, and my Joes used it so many times.
That's a good Lady Cobra Jane vehicle. Flint vehicle when they're having a beef. Got to separate them.
So she's telling him how to drive. No.
See, I integrated my Star Wars and G.I. Joe when I was a kid because I had the Death Star play set, the Hoth battle set.
Yeah.
So I always had Cobra and Star Wars team up, but Cobra, the Empire, yeah.
I never mixed the figures, but I always use their accessories, their world building. Anything that I could use to enhance, playing with my Joes, I would have used. I actually traded most of my Star Wars figures for Joes.
Nice. All right. So this next one, so that was what was your first. This one was what's your vehicle, aircraft, or playset, Joe or Cobra? Don't restart on me. My computer's wanting to update. That is your most memorable.
Okay. Most memorable playset would be the 83 headquarters.
Good choice.
I went into this real strange state called Indiana, and it's so weird out there because everything's so flat. And this guy wanted me to come up and go toy hunting with him, which I thought was a little strange, but I was like, okay, toys are involved, so I will go. And I met up with him at the largest Target I've ever seen in my life. And he brings me out this box that evening before we're heading back to the hotel. And he's like, here you go. He hands me the 83 headquarters. And I can't thank Casey enough. So.
I'm glad you like it.
That's awesome, man.
I love it, man.
I didn't have room for it. I knew it was going to go to a good home. So
I like Rachel's character she'd put in the cloud car with barbecue.
Who was
orange on orange?
Oh. So yeah, I've got it set up here, and it's full of Joes.
Ronnie's a nut.
Mauler.
You said you got the box too?
No, didn't get the box.
Okay. I didn't.
The guy that gave it to me was being stingy, and he didn't have the box for it. And
still don't have the box for it. Never had the box for it. Well, as a kid, I had the box, but back then we just threw boxes away.
Yeah. I seen one in the box, and they were wanting more money than what I had in my wallet. So I messaged my wife. I was like, hey, I've been a good boy. I haven't done nothing stupid. And she said, think about that again. And I was like, can I get it? She's like, no. I was like, please? She said, no. And then whenever Casey dropped that on me, I was like, yep.
Battle platform. That's cool. My most memorable one was for Christmas. So Santa Claus would always have the gifts out displayed underneath the tree and he would leave the lights on overnight. So when I would wake up like at 5:30 Christmas morning, I'd sneak upstairs, and because I lived because my bedroom was in the basement, and I kind of knew I was getting it, but it was the 94 Cobra Rattler. And it was sitting there in the box and not put together, as I had told my dad to tell Santa, can you please make sure that if whatever vehicle I get gets put together? But that was okay because my dad and I put it together.
That is so cool. Is that your childhood one?
No, my childhood one was so much destroyed. It like that, and the Dragonfly had so many battles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This thing is a beaut.
I had 2 Dragonflies as a kid, and both of them had the same issues. The propellers would snap off, and I'd still play with them.
Yeah. Yep.
So my most memorable, and the memory is only like 4 years old. At the Great Ohio Toy Show, and I found, for what I consider a good price, something I've always wanted: the Terradrome. It's complete, nothing's broke, and to this day, I'll see that vendor at Joe Fest or any other convention, and he still remembers me telling me he wishes he never sold it for that price. But I'm thankful he did, and I love it. It is absolutely my favorite. It was a great memory. Matt helped me carry it to the car because it was a long walk to the car. Let's see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Matt's is most memorable. The Moray hydrofoil. His daughter bought it for him.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
That always makes it special.
Yeah.
All right, you guys keep talking. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right. Sky Striker was Lilith's. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's one that escaped me as my childhood. Never had it.
I didn't have a Sky Striker as a kid. I didn't have very many vehicles. I had one one really big land vehicle, and I had the Slugger and the Vamp and the Shark, but like major huge vehicles, no, I didn't have none of them. Just the one big one, which it turned into 2 vehicles, so that was double the fun.
Yeah. Yep.
Anytime you can double the fun, it's a win. It may not be OSHA compatible, but still.
What's your question, Lilith?
I can't bring it up, or
I know. Yeah, Casey's in charge.
yeah.
Best international vehicle, the Rebel Skull from Ken. Toy Connections. That thing's bad.
Yeah. I would love to have a Robo Skull.
I almost got on that Kickstarter, but just because the nostalgic, I mean, I had no idea what it was. When I finally got back into Joe in 2018, started seeing the history of the everything that was overseas across the pond.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's when I started learning about Action Force and all of that other stuff. And then on top of that, watching Ken's videos on Toy Connections.
Yeah.
All right, so Lil's question is, what was your best G.I. Joe bargain you got as an adult collector?
Mine's going to have to be trading in all my Star Wars stuff, since my heart wasn't in it anymore, and being able to trade all that for the flag and a bunch of in-store credit.
Mine would have to be the headquarters, 82 or 83 headquarters. I don't know why I keep wanting to call it 82 headquarters, but yeah, it was free. and you can't beat free, not even with a stick.
Well, I don't know if everybody would consider it a deal, but I got my flag for $600.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean it's not 100% complete, but it's close enough for me. It's not missing like huge pieces, just some little odds and ends. And I just wish I had a place I could put it up. I had to take it down. I had to put up my Eternia because I paid more for that, so I figured it has to go up.
Yeah. I think the one I did pay for that I thought was a bargain that I couldn't believe it was sitting there was the whale. I never owned the whale as a kid. That's one that escaped me just because it was too expensive. My parents weren't going to buy that for me. But it was, I think it was 2020, and it was, I think it was
Nice,
like
Rachel.
$60, and that might have. I thought it was a great deal, and it was complete. I think there's one of the back. Can't think of it. Rudders, whatever.
Yeah.
That's missing, and the motorcycle. The motorcycle's missing, which.
$60. That's not bad.
No, I mean,
I
it's
got
a great
mine for
condition.
60 at the lobby swap at Joe Fest like 3 years ago, and it's got a little damage on the front, but all the like commonly broken parts are there.
Yeah.
So
I had a guy offer me a whale carcass for 20. It had all kinds of naughty bits broken.
Gosh, for a second I was like, an actual whale carcass.
It was basic. It was a killer whale, but it was just the carcass of one. It had been picked apart.
All right.
so where
we
did we leave?
are. Yeah, we didn't jump ahead or anything. We waited for you. So that was most memorable. What is a playset, vehicle, or aircraft you could play with over and over?
Oh, the Dragonfly. I had 2 of them, destroyed both of them, wore them smack out. I mean, just ran them into the ground. Airwolf came out, and I didn't have an Airwolf, so it was my Airwolf, and Snake Eyes was the pilot of it, and it was just amazing. I loved it.
I always use those exhausts as thrusters.
As a turbo.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So Toy Nut says his wife picked up a flag for $100. That is awesome.
Wow.
That might be the deal of the day.
That's a deal of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yes. Very well done.
Yeah.
Tomac had 10 out of 10 play value. Yep.
Yeah.
Mine
Machine's fun.
Yeah.
that I could play with over and over. Squeaky wheels. My original.
Ooh.
Sting.
That's cool.
So I never had the Vamp or the Vamp Mark II as a kid. This was probably my third vehicle. First was the Dragonfly, then I got the Hiss, then I got my Vamp. And this rolls. I'm sure the Vamp, they all roll super, super great. Like you can sit there and just roll it along the sidewalk. In the basement that the house I lived in when I was a kid was just concrete floors, and we would have rugs set up everywhere. And really it was just the basement. My room was in there, separated, and then everything else was out in the open. So it was like an unfinished basement, but it was basically my big playroom. And one day by accident, I was just rolling this along with the Stinger driver in it, all fully decked out, and it hit the lip of a rug and just went end over end, twirling. And I thought that was the coolest thing. So I immediately took off the missile rack and all the panels, and just I would do that. I'd have my friends come over, and then this is one I got a few years ago. I just love this, the color and everything on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stinger is just. If I would have had the Vamp before the Stinger, it probably would have been that, because I would have done the same thing. But
Yeah. So mine is the Tomahawk. When I got back into Joe, it was the first vehicle of any size that I picked up. I got it at Kokomo Toys, $100, which I was like, oh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it is a lot of money for a toy. But I've had so much fun with it. And I could just imagine me having that as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I could have played with that thing for hours and hours and hours. And my wife came down the stairs because, I do all this in our basement. And I was taking it from one shelf to the other. But when I was doing it, I was going, and she's like,
I do that.
every time I pick up a helicopter,
oh, yeah. You got to have fun with it.
Yep.
Whenever I had an extra Eagle Hawk, so I was taking it to a friend of mine that worked at a place called Classic Plastic in Parkersburg Mall, and I had a hold of it at the center between the two blades. I was wanting to like swish it back and forth like it was like moving, and some kids spotted it, and he's like, "What is that? That is so cool!" I was like, "It's an Eagle Hawk. You gotta go check one out." And
so Matt's one is the Cobra Fang. And he says it's small and within reach of my computer desk.
did not know that.
Nice.
Ooh.
Now,
Hey.
Eagle Hawk, is that for the 4-inch?
Yeah,
figures?
but
Okay.
the 3 3/4 fit in it also.
Oh, yeah.
If you would want to part with one of them Eagle Hawks, give me a shout, because I have a custom idea I'm wanting to do with one of them. For
What's the point of collecting toys if you don't have fun with them?
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yep.
That's why I always say buy what you want, don't buy what you don't want. If it doesn't bring you joy, get rid of it. That's why I have like 6 classified figures.
That's why I got rid of those classified figures.
That's right. I got rid of mine and got classics, which I enjoy and I love. So,
that's how I got my Crusader. Was trading in my classifieds.
And I'm not a hater.
No.
I'm not a hater.
No.
If they make you happy, buy them.
Yep.
I'm glad they make them.
The way, like Rec Ship 85, his posts on Instagram with those classifieds are amazing.
Yes.
Eric, what's the one that the Destro versus Destro, Joe Oscar Mike?
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
That was
the production value on that. Man, that's awesome. And those, makes these classifieds just come alive.
Yeah.
So bravo to you guys that have these classifieds that can do that stuff. That's awesome.
Rex says that's so awesome. So true too. I mean, I am a heart, which is not a healthy heart. I admit that, but in my heart, I'm still a child.
Yep.
And my wife would say it. She would agree. She said I'm the toughest one of her children to raise.
My wife says that about me, and we don't even have children. I don't understand it.
All right. This one is, which vehicle, playset, or aircraft surprised you the most? So maybe it's something that you didn't like as a kid until you got it, or as a collector. And then once you had it, you're like, oh, wow, I actually like this.
All Striker. Never had it as a kid. And I found one at a antique mall. It's nowhere near complete. It is nowhere near complete. And You could take the motor out of it. It rolls great. The front tires steer. Has a little bit of suspension in it. It. I took a picture of it the other day, and I had the figure for my wife driving it, and I had little hillbilly in the passenger seat, and there's like drifting around a turn, and it just looks great. I mean, who doesn't love a good all striker?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if everybody can tell it, but most of the time when we're doing live streams, when my hands are down here, I've got a figure in my hand.
Yeah. And a while ago,
That's awesome.
I was putting this together.
The flak.
Nice.
Yeah, and I gotta thank Joe Ricondo for the flak. He sent it to me, and then he messaged me. He's like, "I forgot to send the seat." I was like, "It didn't matter to me. They were going to set on the stub for the seat anyways." So he sent me the seat the other day.
So I didn't have it as a kid. I didn't want it as a kid. I had a friend that had one, and when I saw it, I was like, it's kind of boring. I wasn't a big fan with any carrying cases or anything. But when I saw it in a collection store, a toy store, the APC, I was really surprised how great a vehicle this is. I think as a kid, what was underwhelming to me was just the cannon was just kind of a, I don't know, oddly shaped cannon on it. And I wasn't impressed with it, but having this now, I've had it for a few years, 3 or 4 years now. And I recently just started noticing, looking even closer into it, just the detail of everything. And GI Joe in depth is always great with detail with their vehicles. But I mean, it even has a gas tank. They could have had this hollow, and it's got the crankshaft for each wheel.
Yep.
It's just amazing how. Plus, this always reminded me of the vehicle from Damnation Alley a little bit.
Yeah.
So, the front of it anyway. But yeah, it's great. I like it. And they make some really cool 3D printed accessories for the cannon replacement. So
yeah. And then the Adventure Team or Action Force version of it is 100% improvement.
Yeah.
And it's 100 times more expensive to get too.
Yeah.
But I want it.
Yeah.
So who drives your APC in your head?
Whoever I have available.
Right, yeah. Normally one of the original 9 or whatever, or 11. I'll throw Grand Slam in there because he ain't really doing much,
Or if I don't have the vamp out, it might be Clutch, or it might be Cover Girl, or just any number of people.
Any of the drivers.
Yeah. So mine is, now read the question to me again, just so I know I'm right on this one.
It's, hang on.
Sorry.
It's no, you're good. What surprised you? What's one vehicle, playset, or aircraft that surprised you? Basically, if you didn't like it as a kid, or it didn't really pop at the time for you.
Well, I'm gonna say
once
the
you got
flag. I'm gonna say the flag because
all right.
I didn't have it as a kid, and I wanted it, and I never got to play with it. None of my friends had it. So after I got it, I was just amazed of, all the stuff you can do inside the tower. Just the sheer size of it. I knew it was big, but I did not know it was that big, and how much land it takes up, how much real estate you have to give up for that. And at one point, I will have it back up because I got all my Joe stuff moved over there, and I think I've got it worked out. I just need to get the right stand to put it on.
Hey, if you need somebody to store it for you, just let me know,
Yeah.
and I'll
I
There's
would, but I don't want to pay that shipping price to send it to you.
I'll come and get it. I mean,
I
it'll fit in
saw
the
a
bed of my truck.
video of this tour of it was a guy's house, or it was an extra house he had, because the entire thing was all toys. I mean, there wasn't one bare spot on the wall or ceiling, and he
Yeah.
had flags on the ceiling.
It's crazy.
He had 7 or 8 flags, and they were just everywhere. And sometimes you couldn't even see them. It was like, well, where's Waldo? Because they were all covered up. And
Yeah.
the camera would pan, and here's a flag just supported into the. It's crazy.
It's insane.
Wow.
But yeah, so definitely the flag for me. It was a nice surprise. Hey, good morning, Lawrence.
Morning.
Nice to see you. So Matt's would be, he said his surprise is the pogo. Until I held one, I thought I would never own one. Easily top 5 for me.
Yeah. That was a toss-up.
And that is true. I was with him when he got it. He absolutely was blown away by it. We both got our pogos at the same time.
I have the pogo, I have the box, and I have the blueprints for it, and it's actually a pretty cool vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Even version 2, just that had a different color to it. I can't remember what it was called, but
it was like for the outer space stuff, right?
Star Brigade, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It was. But no, not gonna sell my Motu stuff. Thanks, Lil.
Casey's the only person I know goes to Joe Fest and looks for Motu.
It's cheaper there.
It is.
Besides, Joe Fest just about talking to everybody.
Yeah.
It's about hanging out with your friends for 3 days.
Yeah. See, last year it was my first year, and I was like in sensory overload. So this year I have a little bit more grasp of what I want to be doing, and so I was kind of a fuddy-duddy last year. I'd power out, and I'm awkward around people whenever I first meet them. So Casey
Well,
was on
him
his
now,
own.
so
Yeah, Casey was on his own a lot last year.
never on your own at Joe Fest.
No.
Rex Ship says Joe Fest is about seeing Ronnie trick shot in the States.
Yep.
Ronnie, it's gonna happen someday, Ronnie.
You can fly into Yeager Airport here in West Virginia. I will pick you up, my friend.
What's the next question?
Which Joe or Cobra vehicle, aircraft, or playset is your guilty pleasure? So it may not be a guilty pleasure. Like I said in the last one we did, I kind of gave you the example of, I'm into what type of music you're in. Like I like heavy metal, like a lot of the 80s metal, glam metal, hair metal, even 70s classic rock, and then regular 80s pop music. And like my guilty pleasure for music is like George Michael. So go figure.
Well, for me, my guilty pleasure. Oh, the Shark. Had it as a kid. Absolutely loved it.
That's good. Yeah.
I even have 2 version 1 Deep Sixes. One's in my fish tank. He looks amazing in the fish tank. And
that's where it belongs.
Yeah.
But he's such a cool figure, even though he has 2 POA. Now, if they did him in classified, I was listening to a podcast, and they was like, if they would do his suit like the battle armor that they're doing, that would be cool. But yeah, the Shark, it went on so many adventures with me. And now I have 3 of them. I have the Night Force version, and I have the Cobra version, the Wave Runner. So, yeah, that's my guilty pleasure. And I ain't I ain't going to apologize. I don't feel cheap and dirty either.
Mine's going to be all the battle stations, the checkpoint, the watchtower, the Cobra bunker,
Yeah.
the missile defense system. To me, those things, along with those battlefield accessories, just they were inexpensive.
Yeah.
So for kids like me that didn't get a lot of vehicles, these were the ones that, really set apart a good playing experience. And, yeah. So
For sure. Yeah.
I think there's 9 of them from 84 to 86.
Yeah.
Goes top 2.
That's
so
really
mine is the Thunderclap. I know it's nobody's favorite, but I think that thing is severely underrated. The driver is cool. I finally got mine, I believe, 100% complete. I had to get one of the flags, but I got it, and it is awesome. If I had to sell a bunch of stuff, which I hope I don't have to, I would hold on to that one. Not just because I love it so much, but my wife took the time to get it for me for our anniversary one year. And it means a lot to me. The amount of the pride on my cold, dead hands. All right, so Matt says his guilty pleasure is no vehicle, but if you want something, it's Crystal Ball. He loves the figure Crystal Ball.
I have one. It's a great figure.
I would say
Matt,
it's
that
great.
was last episode. Got 2 more to go. 2 more.
Okay.
Conquest is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still have my original. Love that thing. Bivouac, classified. You got, man, if they start doing that stuff in classified, you guys that have those classified,
Yeah.
that'll be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing everything.
It'll really pick up that game.
Yeah.
Just give it some world building.
Yeah. All right. Which Cobra vehicle, aircraft or play set? What's one that you wanted but never got as a kid? Or as an adult? Maybe you still don't have it.
It's a toss up between 2 of them.
So stupid. It was awesome. It is. It is cool.
It's a toss up between the Terradrome and the Rattler. I want to go with the Rattler. I never had it, and I wanted it so bad. Yeah. Yep. I have a redneck Terradrome, so that'll work for me. Looks like a burnout Terradrome laying out in the yard. Use it. It's an old semi-rim. It's shaped just like a Terradrome. It comes up with the lip up top. We use it as a fire pit.
I used when I was a kid. My parents switched out I don't know if it was the washer or the dryer, but they had the drum.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Somehow it was out in the, I don't know, the junk pile that we had. And I used that and buried halfway up in the sand or in the dirt. That was my Cobra Terradrome.
Nice.
So
It works.
yeah. Mine, I wanted this thing when I saw the commercial for it. And it was a commercial that had it had 2 things. It had the tactical battle platform featured in the commercial and the Cobra hydrofoil, the Moray. I wanted both of them really bad, but I really wanted
Nice.
the hydrofoil as a kid that I never got.
Yeah.
I'm still working on this one too. It's not 100%
so
complete.
Does it have the lens?
No.
Mine
have
has a
2.
Pro lens, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that hydrofoil is so cool. I mean, it's just part of the 1985 greatness that they gave us back then.
For
And
sure.
Cobra didn't have a lot of vehicles in 85 as far as, what Joe gave us for vehicles. So to pop that one off and give us that big vehicle for 85 for Cobra. Even the, what's the driver's name? Moray driver. Lamprey. Really cool figure. So, yep, that was mine.
Nice. So mine is something I wanted as a kid, still want as an adult. I don't have it yet. Is a tactical battle platform. That would be cool to have. If I know people don't consider it a grail, but at this point in my GI Joe collecting, I would call it a grail for me anyway.
Yeah.
Because I got 2 out of the big 3 things, and I don't want the third one. So that definitely would work for me. And wanted but never got was the flag. Maybe someday things will align.
Battle platform was cool.
Yeah.
I got one a few years ago, cleaned it up with some simple green, ordered some stickers off Toy Hacks. Yeah, that's a cool platform.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yorktown. Buddy.
That's rough. Yeah, the battle platform would be cool. I'd love to have that.
Yeah.
The last question is, this is the bonus one. So it could actually be something that we've already picked. But I'm not into collecting boxes. I don't go and seek out the boxes for these. If I find one that's part of the item I'm wanting, that's great. Sometimes it throws that price really high up. And sometimes the boxes themselves are just stupid for the price. And I do have a few boxes in my collection, but the one that I really want that I don't have is the Cobra Rattler box, just because that was my most memorable aircraft and part of this list. That was my most memorable one that Christmas morning, seeing that box underneath the Christmas tree. I'd really like to see a Cobra Rattler box someday in decent condition, because I know they're 41 years old. So
yeah.
Me.
How cool would it be if it still had it in there?
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
with all the sprues not put together.
Yeah. Would you open it if it was sealed? Would you open it?
No, you know what? I don't know. I might open it, but I might keep everything not put it together, just because I already have one put together and it's in good condition. And trying to put something together that's 41 years old now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think I open, I would say 98% of the stuff I buy.
Yeah.
I don't think I could open a sealed Joe toy or figure from my childhood. I would want it in the packaging. That's why I don't go out and try to buy a lot of in-box stuff.
Go ahead, Eric.
I have the Grizzly in the box, unassembled, still on the sprues, still in the plastic and everything. A friend of mine that I worked with at my last job, whenever I was getting ready to leave, I turned my notice in, and a couple days later, he brings it to me, and he's like, "Here, I got something for you." And he's like, "I don't want you to forget me." And I've debated over the years about taking it out and assembling it, but the box is open, and everything's still in the tray, and I'm just going to leave it like that. Even though it's a Sergeant Savage, but it's still sentimental, but a box that I would love to have. And if the vehicle was in it, it'd be easy. Yep, I'm getting that. Would be the Havoc. It was the only big vehicle I ever had as a child, other than the Slugger, and it was probably my favorite land vehicle as a child because it was so versatile. And I know some people hate on it because of the gunner seat, but I always played like, hey, he could be up there just tramming along, and then if things is getting ready to get serious, he'd jump down into the canopy, which was bullet and missile proof, and run the turret, whatever you call
Turret.
it, turret,
Turret.
You're making Ronnie laugh.
you, he could use that tort. I can't pronounce stuff right. All right. Bear with
runt.
Tort. That's what I just said. Tort. But he could run that turret. It hurts my mouth even trying to pronounce it like that. He could run it incorrectly, but he could run it from inside, or the co-pilot could run it. And there's so much detail on the inside of that canopy. I took mine apart and did a complete custom paint job on it and did all the detail work on the inside. Thanks, Ronnie. Like that.
Yeah, you did a good job on that Havoc custom.
Thank you. I was scared to death taking it apart. If you ever take one apart like that, soak it in hot water, as hot as you can stand it, because that helps the clips from breaking. Them little mushroom clips, they will snap like a dry twig in a fire. So that's my spiel. I'll get off my soapbox now, since Ronnie's having a fit over here in Australia. Dirt.
What'd you just call me?
Sorry, Eric. I don't mean to make us look bad, buddy, but I can't help it.
So mine would be for my favorite G.I. Joe playset, the Terradrome. I would love to have a box of the Terradrome, even over the flag, because I don't know where I'd put a box that size. I already got stuff just taking a space.
Yeah. Did you keep that Eternity box?
Yes, I had a spot big enough for that.
That thing is huge.
Nothing else is going there.
They had that at the at Bat City Toys up in Austin. They had that they had one for sale up there. I'm like, holy cow, that thing is huge.
I've seen a couple of them.
There's a picture of me on Instagram when I got it with it in front of me. Yeah, it is. I could not wait to put that thing together.
So, Wes, what's your thoughts of the APC box?
I forgot to give Matt's.
The APC box?
Yeah.
He says, I am not a box collector, but if I had to choose, it would be the Moray.
I don't know about the box, but the turret, I wasn't too happy as a kid with. What was Matt's? I'm sorry.
The Moray.
Yeah.
That's a great box, too.
I can see that coming from Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
all the boxes are great.
Reason I'm saying that, I know a guy's got two thumbs that would be willing to part with his APC box. This guy. If you're interested in an APC box,
you got to think about that. I'll let you know.
It's rough. And he would give it to you for a great price. One USS flag.
I knew
that's a steal, man. You got to jump on that.
Yeah. That's Amore.
It's when I got the tactical battle platform back in 2021. It was a pretty good deal on Macari,
Mm-hmm.
and it came with the box. And I was surprised at the price that I was able to get it at. And yeah, I was like, okay, well, I'm not a collector of boxes, because at the time I didn't have any boxes then. And when I
Right.
first started back into collecting, I was like, all right, just the figures only. All right. Well, maybe some of the battle stations and accessory packs.
Smaller stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me get the Rattler. Let me get all the stuff that I had and didn't have. And then one day I have the whale, and the next day I have the flag. And now all of a sudden I have, everything. But now, the battle platform box is cool because of all the action that's going on in it. Same thing with the hydrofoil box. And the Terradrome. The Terradrome has how many Cobra and Dreadnoks on there just shooting at the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say 100% G.I. Joe box art when we were kids was first level.
Yep.
It made you want to buy that.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even if they had turrets on them.
The great thing that kind of can put, if anyone can't get boxes and can put them at ease, is 3D Joe's has those posters that have the collage of them. I think he still has them available, but they do have the actual size poster for I think it's the Defiant Terradrome and the flag. I had the flag, and then when I moved, I had that poster, and when I moved and I was taking it off the wall, it ripped.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they make great posters.
Yeah, moving sucks. When we moved from our last apartment, when we got the house, somehow I lost a box that had all my childhood Joes in them.
Oh.
But at the time, I wasn't collecting. I just kept them because I always loved them.
Mm-hmm.
I was disappointed,
Yeah.
but then when me and Matt started doing this, it was kind of fun because I was rebuilding the collection, and we turned that into a show. So we just had fun with it. So I guess everything happens for a reason. One day I'll find it again.
Yeah. We moved a handful of times, when I was in school. And when we moved, when I was in 8th grade, we moved off the farm into the town. I come home one day, everything's packed up, ready to go. And so when we get to our new house, unpacking everything, I was like, where's all my boxes? My mom threw all the boxes, my G.I. Joe boxes, away that I had. I didn't have a lot, but I had the Dragonfly, the Hiss, the Stinger, the Snowcat. I had those boxes, and she was like, they're taking up too much space.
Yep.
It's like, I've been like, throw some of your stuff away then.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm a kid. Toys are all I got.
In her defense, like you said a while ago, as kids, we threw the boxes away. We cut the flag point out. We cut the flag point out, and the box went. I wish I would have kept my card backs as a child.
Yeah.
I wish I'd kept the file cards. And
I kept all the file cards. I have those in those when we would, back in the day when checks, we would have to write checks out.
Yeah.
They came in that little box.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have all my file cards in that. And I wish I would have done what Ronnie did on a previous video where he goes through all of his card backs, and they're not cut out or anything. So
yeah,
I don't know why I had to cut them up and just keep the file card.
Because those lines were there to be cut around.
I know.
Yeah. See,
that's what we did back then.
My breaker and my snake eyes that I got in '82, I cut around them. And I jacked them all up because I was 7 years old and I wasn't taking my time. I was careless with scissors, and then I was like, I'm looking at him. I'm like, I know my track record with weapons, let alone card back or file cards. And they just disappeared.
Is Joe Ricondo still with us? I was going to point up. Right there is the Delta 17 guys.
Yeah, those are great, man.
All right. Well, those are our lists. We really appreciate everybody for being on. This was a very lively, hard to keep up with chat, which I love.
Yeah, I love
Guys
that.
keep me on my toes.
Yeah.
And thanks for all the first time people I've seen in here.
Yep.
If everybody would throw us a like.
Yep. Subscribe.
And subscribe if you want. That'd be great.
Yeah.
We are
Smash
trying to
that like
build.
button.
Yeah.
And if you want some merchandise, go over to mine and Casey's Instagram. I think we have in the in our links the link to our Spreadshirt site. Go buy a Delta 17 shirt. We make no money off of them, so that way they're cheaper for our friends and family.
Delta 17. You mean Podcast from the Pit?
Yeah, Podcast from the Pit. Sorry. I seen a Delta 17 and just like, I was like, squirrel, gravy.
We need to make a squirrel gravy t-shirt.
That we do.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
tuning in.
everybody.
Thanks
We'll
for
be
coming in,
back
everybody.
next week.
Yep.
All right. Take care, everybody.